Okay, this is probably the most important video for chapter 2. What we'll be covering today is how can good X be a normal good, inferior good, or a given good. We'll also be discussing how good X and good Y can be complements or substitutes to one another. I'm sure you recall me saying that we'll be learning about income in kind. I just want to let you know that we are still focusing on nominal income, which means that income comes in the form of money and not goods. So you have to take note that for the analysis in terms of income in kind may yield different types of results. So take note that we're not using income in kind for this analysis. And also, we'll be focusing more on the Hicksian definition of real income. Alright, let's begin with the normal good. To understand the normal good better, we have to look at what is the relationship between a change in real income and the quantity of X demanded. Normally, if your real income is going to increase, what would happen is that you will also increase the quantity that you demand for good X. And if your income has decreased, you will decrease the demand for X. Well, this is normal, right? So that's why they call it a normal good. The next question you have to ask is, how do you identify a change in real income? How do I know whether it's going up or going down? Well, basically there's going to be two techniques. So the first technique is pretty straightforward. You basically look at the nominal income divided by the price of X or Y. You can actually see how straightforward this is from a numerical example that I'm going to show you now. So I'm just going to imagine that initially my nominal income and the price of X would be 10 and 5 respectively. So this will give me a real income of 2x. So I'm going to compare this to the scenario where the price of X has increased to a price of 2. I'm going to get 5x as the real income in terms of X. So therefore, my real income has increased because I now have more X. So this is straightforward. I can see that my real income has increased. Well, the second way is to actually look at where the new budget line is and compare it to where the imaginary budget line is. I hope you recall that the new budget line is what happens after the economic disturbance, and the imaginary budget line is the budget line that you draw to identify your Hicksian substitution effect. So if the new budget line is above the imaginary budget line, well, this basically means that your real income has increased. So it's an easier way to look at things because you just look at the graph and from there you can identify the change in real income. So if your new budget line is below your imaginary budget line, well, this means that your real income has actually decreased. If you're lost right now, it probably means that you're unable to visualize what is going on. No problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in graph terms exactly what I mean. So I'm just going to quickly set out my initial equilibrium first. And for now, I'm just going to ignore the notations so that my graphs does not look so cluttered. I'm just going to imagine that the price of X has decreased, so we're going to experience this. Now, if you take a look here, this red line over here is my new budget line, and this dotted line is my imaginary budget line. So as you can see, it's very clear that the new budget line is above the imaginary budget line, therefore my real income has increased. So this is what I meant by comparing the new budget line and the imaginary budget line. So let's take a look at another example. This time, I'm just going to imagine that the price of X has increased. So going back to the basics, I know that my budget line is going to rotate inwards, and once again, this red line here is my new budget line, and this dotted line over here is the imaginary budget line. As you can see very clearly again, the new budget line is below the imaginary budget line. Therefore, real income has decreased. So as you can see, this is a very fast way to identify the change in real income. From there, we can actually talk about our normal good. Now, we need to understand the relationship between the substitution effect and the income effect in the case of a normal good. So, if good X is a normal good, what you will notice is that the substitution effect and the income effect actually moves in the same direction. So what do I mean by the same direction? So let's just imagine that the price of X is going to fall. Now, think about it. If the price of X fall, what does the substitution effect say? It says that we'll move towards the right from point A. So from point A, we're going to move right to point C. And the income effect, because it moves in the same direction as the substitution effect, will bring us to point B. So as you can see, we move from A to C to B in the same direction. So what if the price of X is going to increase? The substitution effect says we're going to move to the left. And from point C, we're going to move to the left again in the case of a normal good when the price of X rises. Okay, so I'm just going to label it down that this is point B for a normal good. If you are not so sure about this, please watch the video on the indifference curves where we actually teach you how to identify the substitution effect and the income effect.
Thanks for watching a sample of the Quickonomics online learning experience. We hope you've enjoyed it. We believe that true happiness lies in realizing ambitions and dreams. That's why we make our products specific to your needs, simple to understand and captivating, so that you can learn effectively while saving time, realizing those ambitions and dreams. The Quickonomics online learning experience is a range of supplementary lectures, tutorials, and exam solutions in the form of videos, which you can conveniently view anytime, anywhere. Watching our videos before and after your regular lessons at school, we aim to give you joy in learning and build academic confidence at the comfort of your own relaxed learning environment. So how can you begin? We welcome you to purchase Quickie Dollars to redeem the videos for full access to the Quickonomics online learning experience. Thank you for starting with Quickonomics.